as well as a schedule. Alright, where the hell is it? Are we running? I think we are. Alright, so guess this goes in here. Wait, that's the dashboard. Okay. All right, but where is? More. All right, it says we're live, but what's the address of the stream? Okay, so I'm streaming. How do I get to this location? I am streaming, right? Okay. Is that the stream? So uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright. Alright. Gonna take over Game Dev Network. Refresh all of these. And there should be a YouTube stream as well. Alright. Well, it doesn't like it. I tried. Strange. Alright, well, it is what it is. Alright. Maybe you can figure it out. Okay, where were we? We set up the box blueprint. I think this is working, yes. So what we need to add is creating objects after the fact. So I gotta hook in there and see what happens. So apparently with what happens if I reload this one? It gets created there. That is strange. And now that got created as well. So the proxies got created there, but not here. No, it did. The proxies don't get destroyed, I think. Ah, yes, okay. I think I understand what's happening. So here we're looking when the netID gets created, but we're not listening to netID.destroy. So that should be step one. So I don't think we need this anymore. So, network line netID. So when netID gets destroyed, I believe that happens in here, right? Is there another URL without gaming? Ah, that works as well. Yeah, very strange. All right. So, at when the net ID gets destroyed, do we eventually end up here? I don't know. Let's find out. So if I refresh this, we get a destroy net ID here. Do we get a destroy here? Apparently not. Okay, so let's hide the instantiate calls for a sec. We've got an instantiate call here. We have a register blueprint call we can hide as well. What else we got? Blueprint.server. Okay, so the calls inside the blueprint themselves, and obviously we'll have them in here as well. All right. Okay, so if I refresh this one, that'll fire a network destroy net ID. But it doesn't propagate. No, that's... But wait. Okay, if I remove this one... Alright, if I... what's this one? Okay. Uh-huh. Alright, so destroy net ID fires on the server. Then it sends message net ID destroy. So that should get handled here. Very strange. This server is false. What? That's incorrect. That's incorrect in so many different ways. They're all false. Shoot. That's kind of broken. Alright, so connection. Oh, wait a second. Is it because of this? Maybe. Is that it? Is server false, false, false? No. Oh, it disconnects and that happens afterwards. Oh, shit. So we can't actually do this here. No. No, 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 no. What's going on here? So, when does is server get set to false here? Here. This identity doesn't change. Yeah. Okay, so at least the destroy comes through. So, okay, that's a change I did, and then after that it was broken, didn't realize. Fair enough. Okay. So, destroy netID triggers. And the netID itself, now if I make state a property, right, and then we'll put it in here. I have a setter. So if I refresh this now, I'm an idiot. Hey, Mr. Glacier, how are you? Wait, what? Interesting. What the heck? Very strange. Very strange. Alright, so. So, destroyed. So this dot dispatch event. And destroyed. Reload this one. Destroyed, destroyed. Not here, okay. Destroyed. So now we should be able to guess this is a good place to fire events, right? Just destroy. Fair enough. Okay. So now we need to listen to those events from probably from the root blueprint core. So probably what we want to do here, netid.on destroyed or once function console.log blueprint.on destroyed. How's that? Hey Blackburn, how are ya? Okay, so this fires. We also can get rid of all this rubbish. So call peer type equals undefined, and then here we'll like this dot client equals true, this dot peer type equals blueprint core dot client. Can we, if we call it blueprint instead of blueprint core, when we're registering it, don't think it matters what this is called here. Right. Don't think it matters at all. So if I rename this to constructor, right. Actually, I don't even need to rename this at all, I think. Hmm. Alright, whatever. Okay. So let's save this to period type undefined. Really? Oh, because that's the net ID, okay. Fair enough. So, what does the Unity client create or something, or instantiate? On instantiate? How does that work? On destroy. Let's have a quick look at how that works out. This is a weird pattern. It's tempting. I feel like I should rename these though. So blueprint client. Shall we rename them? So on create client perhaps? On create proxy, and then on create server. So if type of this dot on create client function I mean, the alternative would be to call a single kind of event method thingy-majig, and then have these guys sorted out. I feel like I shouldn't even pass these things in it anymore. If I do this, var netid equals this dot netid here and here, then I can just get rid of these in this one and here as well. Then I could say undestroy function console.info dot undestroy console.log log this dot peer type. All right. Yes, it's not peer time. We probably want this exposed elsewhere. So let's see, if we are in network, and we can assume this is going to be available everywhere, right? So then we can say network dot peer type dot equals something like this, right? So if I do this and then say peer type dot client server proxy, get rid of these, and then use peer type client server proxy. This makes sense. And then we can assume that network is available here. Yeah, something like that. Something like that, not that. Something like that. You heard me. Hey Vladine, how are you? That's a nice spot. So if peer type equals proxy, so what do we want to do? We want to remove event handlers. Although netID should no longer exist. Should have been removed already. Problem is, the event handler might still exist in a closure in here. Yeah, that's something we'll have to look into. We definitely want to do. Want to look into this. Right now, say scene.remove this.mesh. Right. For now. Undestroy. Wait a second. Blueprint undestroyed. Never got to here. Okay, so that takes care of that part. This.peer type. Now on the server, do we need to do anything on destroy? Not right now. But I have a feeling this stuff leaks memory. So we're gonna have to stress test that and figure out that stuff. Alright, so that'll fire. Get rid of that for a second here. Now, when I destroy this one, and I recreate it, it will be reinformed of netIDs being constructed, right? So on the network client, we will get a bunch of create netID calls, I suppose? Is that what we're gonna get? So if I kill this one, create netID. But this will not initialize the blueprint. So right now the blueprint is attached to the netID, not the other way around. Okay, so this create netID is fired off. On Sandpit. So network server, when we handle a new client being connected, dispatch event client connected. Client. Dispatch event client connected. Client. Who's responsible for instantiating all that stuff? Who is responsible for instantiating everything on the freshly connected peers? Hey, Lenny. All right, I'm doing good. My eyes are a bit burning. Ugh. Maybe the fan is drying them out or something. Okay, so let's see. Handle connected. Okay, so this reinstantiates the net IDs. Unfortunately, at this point, we have no information about the net ID, so it's not really exactly the net ID we want to reinstantiate, unless the net ID somehow gets notified of what it is associated with. So at some point, the blueprint basically has to put a note on the net ID, right? So the net ID currently doesn't carry any data. And if that's the thing that does networking, then we kind of have to attach data to it. Now, the first thing we could do is we could do events on this. So, client send net ID create peer. And then we could say net ID dot dispatch event create peer. So right now, to push instantiation through to peers, it's happening here. So now we can say console.log on create peer, and that, when I restart this, it should fire here on create peer. Now, create peer, we basically need to know which peer. So wait a second, client.send? Shouldn't that be peer.send? This is confusing. What exactly is happening here? What exactly is happening here? Client 5, peer 2 on. When we have a third one of these. So client 7, peer 2. Peer 2 and 5. Client 9, peer 2 and peer 5. Ah. So for each of the peers of this guy, we're telling this guy what's on these guys. Okay, now it does make sense then. So he gets notified. He's the guy who's new, right? So on create peer, so that means up here we know which peer. Hey Isabella, welcome to the stream. Don't think I've seen you before. You're new? Okay, so now on create peer gets fired. If I kill this one, right? So this is client 7, this is 3 and 4, and we get on create peer for 7. Now that means our peer type right now is going to be proxy, right? So console.log peer type self.peer type. I forget. Will there be an instance of this netID peer type server? This client. So this dot client dot ID. So now I'm curious what that particular netID is. So this is client 7, peer for peer 2 and 3, on create peer 7, client 2, client 3. Oh shit, alright. So when we're instantiating proxies, send peers, on create server, on create client. What's the difference between these really? Client sent, that's on client. On server it's send peers, and on proxy, on the proxy we don't. So this is on the server. So for this netID, okay, so it's this call, but instead of send peers of this client, we want to send it to this particular peer specifically. So this is actually peer.send netid.serialize name. I think. Right, so let's move this one up, this one to the left, and this one is right. So then if I refresh this one, okay, we have something here, and I'm guessing if I move this one and this one, alright. So this fixes the instantiation, it doesn't initialize anything. But that's a good start, that's a good start. So that means we want to pass state in, and currently this object doesn't have any official state. The closest thing to state are the options, right? And that's where the serialization comes in, right? So in reality, what we want to do is we want to have a .serialize here, right? And then we'll say, kind of similar to what we did here, if this dot on serialize, then return this dot on serialize. Return this. Right. Then we'll say instance this dot self dot serialize. We should kind of do that on all of these. We could stream the name in there, but it's not really necessary. So right now, when this comes through, this will be on handle message, BP create, instantiate blueprint. So we have BP create and then a message here, and that message should contain the serialization. Shouldn't it? Okay, seems to. Now, what we can do is we'll do something like x0, y0. And we can say math.random times 100 minus 50. Oh, really? Oh, yes, of course. Alright, so this blueprint core, we probably need to, we should pull out into a separate file. It's getting big enough. It's gotten big enough. Do we need NetID in here? Not sure we do. And I think the server needs to learn about this as well. Or maybe not here. No, probably not here. So it's the network client that really needs to know about it. Right, now I can fix this. And I can get rid of this and this. Hey Stormmaker 5 and Design Jonathan, how are you guys? How are you doing? Alright, so we've got that stuff happening, and these are still instantiating, the network data is still being transmitted. Okay, so now we want to serialize this object correctly in a nice fashion. In this case, serialize might actually go below. Right, and then we can do this here. On serialize. Now we can say return this dot mesh dot position. Interesting, because the mesh doesn't exist yet. So,
Hey, what's up? This is Kazar, and you're listening to Chill Yo.
Alright, so what's this? Game client, find properties, net client, game client self. There's blueprint. Ah, okay, that's the old blueprint stuff. Get rid of that. Alright, this has gotten really simple. Hope that's not a problem. Okay, so we're instantiating this initially here. Now, Blueprint Core, Blueprint Client Server Proxy. The problem is this stuff only gets called after NetID is ready to go. Which means we're never gonna have initial state transmission, which isn't good. Now in this case, I feel almost like I have an uninitialize and then onCreate that's separate. So kind of what we want to do then is, it's starting to get a bit messy. So, the problem is, at this point we don't really have anything except the options. Yeah. Except, wait a second, this only gets fired off here. Cannot read property of position of undefined. Yeah. What's up? This stuff should be happening. Client 64. 64. Blueprint Core 58 40 40. Oh. Ah, no. We have to run this first. We have to run this right there before we do the networking. Yes. Yeah. I mean, this code is so similar. It itches me to get rid of it. But this simple change will actually make sure the information is available before we send it across. And then by the time we get to this data, on serialize, we can basically say position, mesh.position. If I look at that, there's no data here. Mesh.position. Mesh would be the box, and the box is what we're moving. Position X. Wait a second. Let me just do this for a sec here. And what if we serialize this? Would this work? JSON.stringify. Whoever thought of stringify as... Ah, Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. So that sort of works. This should also work. So, serialization. Okay, all right. So now, since this is coming through this way, and what's coming in here from the top, so on create client, I want to have a look at this. So we have on create client color 255. But wait a second. Oh. Aha. All right. Opts and opts. So on create client, on serialize. Okay. So on create client options XY. So what we want to do then is box transcode.set box dot position dot set ops.x ops.y 0. Aha! Aha! Alright, we'll probably want to increase that range. So we probably want to have like 400 minus 200 here. Just so we have a significant variance here so we can actually see it. Okay, so now that gets transmitted here. It does not get taken into consideration from the proxies. Right? Or is it? So now on the network client, when we receive this, we're currently not passing in message.data. So is it safe to pass that straight into options? Suppose it is, right? Technically. Okay. Now, on create client. So let's have a look what it looks like from the proxy's perspective. On create proxy. Ah, because we're not taking this into consideration. All right, fair enough. On create proxy. On create proxy. So on create proxy, we're not getting passed in or options. On create client opts. Okay. Okay. Instantiate blueprint. On create proxy. With nothing. Okay, let's clean up some of this spam because I don't know what's happening anymore. So we have that. We don't need this for now. Alright. Now, why does onCreate proxy not get that info? Hey Sharkoon, how are ya? Seems like some deadly combination of a harpoon and a shark. Uh-oh, my nose is itching like crazy. Woo! Alright. Sharkoon 1. It's gonna be a name for one of my sharks in Ark, I think. Alright, so on-client proxy has an empty options data in here. Okay, so as we can see here, it didn't arrive from the server, but it arrived from the client. So on the server, we executed this. So let's have a look at this thing here. So we have onCreate. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Wait a second. No, that's just the message. No. Okay. Wait a second. What's going on here? Proxy, create client, create server, send peers, send blueprint.instantiate. netid.send blueprint.instantiate. This is really odd. This looks like a total odd one out. Wait, let's see if we can find this thing. This is weird. This is so strange. This doesn't make any sense. Blueprint.instantiate does not appear to be used anywhere else. So I don't think this is what we need. Well, if I need to get work done, I gotta get work done, eh? But I try not to make it a habit. In fact, it's when she's finished, when the food is ready, that's my time to get going. Okay, so on create server. Okay, so the data doesn't get in here. Why is that? So we've got these. MSBP create, which is here. Then it executes instantiate blueprint with these three fields: name, net ID, and data. So that's instantiate blueprint. Name. Oh. Whoopsies. The net ID is the last argument. I did not realize this. Does that fix it? Alright, suddenly we have all of these. They're still not coming through to the proxies, but they're getting through to here. Yeah, I can imagine, but since this is my full-time job, you know, it's just the job. It's not really my spare time. Alright, so on create server, send peers. So I guess in this case we'll just message, no. Wait a second, so what's happening? On create server self.serialize. So the server needs to deal with the data just the same as the clients. Yeah. So at the very least we have to stick this in here. We don't necessarily have to put it on the mesh, but we gotta put it somewhere. So here we'll do this on create client, but then on create server what we'll do is we'll just say this dot position dot set, and then we'll do this. How's that? I think that'll work. Ah, no, that doesn't look right. That looks odd. Yeah. Well, but you're probably getting a paycheck. I don't, so there's that. Can't have it all. Alright, I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. So let's see, I've got on create client, and then I'm supposed to get on create proxy, but there's no on create proxy. What the hell? So we've got 3 on create servers and one on create client. Now the on create client comes from passing through here. Ah, what the heck? I mean, that stuff all worked. I feel we're really close. There's probably like a stupid little thing that's gone awry. Now net ID at this point should already be all set up. So we can just say .id, and then here we'll just say net ID, whatever. Maybe square brackets. Ah, that sucks, yeah. Well, the original idea was to have a free-to-play game and then have a premium pay model for additional features. So basically, kind of have a free-to-play game system where people create games and everybody's having fun and all that stuff. But then people who really get into it hardcore, they can spend extra money to get additional features. Now, the idea was the whole game creation was kind of tied up into the game environment. So you have this galaxy and you can travel around, and for a monthly rent, you can rent a space station or build a base somewhere, and that gives you access to, let's say, research machinery where you can analyze alien artifacts, etc. And doing that will gain you additional tools for building your own cards and designing your own games. That was kind of the idea. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I have the resources to build it all as big as I've planned it. So I have to see what I'm going to do in the meantime. Maybe I can sell off individual bits and pieces in various app stores and all that sort of thing, you know. We'll see. I mean, tomorrow I'm starting some paid work on something unrelated, so, you know, I'll try to raise some money. Maybe eventually I'll find a publisher or somebody who I can partner with to finance the whole thing. Yeah, I would love to do crowdfunding, but I don't think I have enough right now to justify it, you know? Because I'm not very good with kind of... I'm not a artist or anything, so it's pretty hard for me to create anything visual. But check out Xenocide Academy for more information. But my ideas have evolved a little bit since then. For example, I'm not sure how much I can actually build for the game and how much of the engine, etc. So, and I feel more comfortable working on the engine stuff than the game stuff itself. So it's a bit, you know. Alright, let's figure out why this isn't working correctly. So on create server, we get the position in. So that takes us to here. Now in the blueprint on the server, if this is peer server, on create server, then we want to serialize. So console.log send peers, and then we're gonna serialize ourselves. So I want to see what we're sending to the peers. So initialize on create server. Wait a second. On create server, and then the next line is this. Shouldn't this happen next after on create server? On create server. On create server doesn't do anything, or it does very little. And MSB create whatever is when we receive a message from clients. Also, there's only 2 connections. Where's the third? The hell is going on? Oh, okay, those are the 2 connections after the first one. Actually, no, it's completely missing the third one. What the hell is going on? Ah, okay, here we go. That's the last one. Initialize on create server. Initialize on create server. Why? Oh, wait a second. Did I have a return in there? No, there's no return in here. On create server. Basically just creates the message forwarding pipe. This line, I don't see it. What the hell, man? Let me reduce the spam a little bit. Yeah, that's what I thought when I started with this idea about 3 years ago. I thought, you know, Blizzard, if they knew how, they would have. I'm sure they would have loved to build Hearthstone in HTML5 rather than Unity. And I feel like I can, so I'm gonna. Of course, a lot of time has passed and a lot of card dates have come and gone, so maybe my idea isn't as good as it was 3 years ago. But unfortunately, things like that don't happen quickly. Airconsole.com. Not heard of it before. Airconsole, online video game console. Your smartphone or gamepad, it browses the console. Ah, cool. I'll check it out. I mean, one of the ideas I have for my game is that you would be able to use a tablet as your shared game table and then your phone as your card hand and play a local multiplayer that way. And then I was thinking, instead of the tablet, you could play it on a big screen TV, like a Chromecast or something, since it's all web-based, you know? And maybe with that, I might get some funding from people like Google that want to push that sort of tech, and it would be a bit of a standout feature. And with my infrastructure and my technology, it would work. It would be fairly easy to do. Yeah, I mean, what I want to do is use the phone as your hand, where your cards are, that you see. And then when you play them, you swipe them from your phone, and it goes onto the TV or onto the tablet, you know? And in my game, the lobby would be the galaxy that you're traveling around to meet other people, you know, and fight them. Cool, I'll check it out later. Dinner's coming soon, so I wanna finish this and get this working again before I leave. So, blueprint core, initialize. And then it goes through here. Then it fires on create server. What I don't understand is why send peers doesn't fire. So before, and then after. Look at this. There's no after. If type of this dot on create server options on create server. This is very strange. Console.log A B C and then on create am I writing something badly here? AB. Oh my god, why that? What the? Huh? Why does it stop there without any kind of message? So this dot position. This dot position should be undefined, right? And this dot position dot set should cause an error. But this error is silently swallowed. Oh shoot, because it was happening inside inside here. So no, it doesn't get to here. And it should still throw an unhandled exception error. That is very strange. But it's not good. This is bad. This should throw errors. Alright, so this dot position equals X Y Z. This is not good that this didn't throw an error. This should have definitely thrown an error. In fact, this will still silently dump everything. Fuck. Alright, I gotta figure out how I can get errors to throw properly there. So obviously this stuff all works now, because there isn't any problem here. I don't know why this is there twice. Okay, now we have send peers x undefined, y undefined, right. Now, y is x undefined, y undefined. On create server options, on create server options, no. Position equals ops dot XYZ. Now, I see. Ops dot position. Alright, because it's already been serialized, right? So there's no shared whatever. Whatevs. Okay, so now we're sending to peers, and then we got onCreate proxy with this stuff. And then onCreate proxy. Yeah, maybe they want to do like a card hand specific controller. I'd love to build all open technology and tools and stuff like that. I enjoy that sort of thing. So onCreate proxy gets these different values, but of course all the proxies are in the center here. So, yeah, there's a bit of a discrepancy because the serialization has dot position in here, and our intro here is X and Y. Which is a bit annoying, because it means that the client is the only one that handles it different. Unless... What if I do this? No, serialize won't work before we do this. No, we basically have to have the same format passed in from the outside. So we basically need position, right, and we'll do this X, Y, Z. And then we need to not treat anything differently than anything else. Probably can I just do this, right? And then on the server, upstart position, right? So now all three should appear in the right places from the start. And it means if I refresh one, its proxy would always come up in the right place. Yes. Yes, it is. So that's pretty good. Alright guys, I'm actually happy with that. That seems to work. I know there's a couple of points we're gonna get in trouble down the line. Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate the input. I'll check it out. I'll have it all open here. I won't have time today, but it looks really interesting. In fact, I'm gonna put it over here so I don't accidentally close it. And Air Console, I'll check that out as well. Ooh, they have sound. I don't like that. Alright. Today I was streaming on YouTube as well, experimentally. Because I'm trying to get on to watch me work. But I'm not sure if that's actually working in the long run. Oh, but it wants a Flash player. Boo. Boo boo boo. The funny thing is their dashboard is HTML5, but the actual streams is Flash, which is just ridiculous. Oh, Total Biscuit just went live. Co-optional podcast. You guys should definitely check it out. In fact, I might host it when I go offline because I love their stuff, and it's definitely good stuff to watch. All right, let's get rid of all these comments for now, just so the log becomes useful again. It's kind of full of crap right now. We want to get rid of that for sure. Then we want to get rid of have the send peers in here. Yeah, in fact, these we want to get rid of permanently. Also, we're noticing like a lot of this stuff is super similar to each other. I'm gonna delete this because I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. So on the client, we're sending it to the server. Here, we're sending it to the peers. The destroy replication probably isn't complete yet. But at least we're starting to propagate the events and all that stuff. We might even have a propagation of onMessage later on. So we have destroy netID is still being logged. And then what else is being logged? The cool thing is right now is that we're actually just listening to netID events on the objects. And then from the objects we re-replicate all the stuff, right? Mostly with that single serialization. Let's try something. Position. What if I do this? Position, blah blah blah. Velocity. Right, and then we'll do this something very similar. But what much smaller values, right? Right. So now this should already get replicated, except not fully, because the data doesn't actually, our serializer doesn't actually take it into consideration. So what we can do is, but in the future maybe we can optimize this stuff, kind of have a state object and then put it all in there. And then here, kind of want to do something similar. To be honest, in a case like this, we probably want to have event listeners instead of pulling something like a position off the mesh, right? Alright. And then this dot velocity gets loaded in from here. And this sort of thing, I think we can eventually put, or we need to put eventually into a level up, so people don't, the user of this API doesn't have to manually do all this stuff, right? And this might actually move into the blueprint core. I mean, that's kind of what it's for. Okay, so now what we can do is on the server, how do you run Node.js? It's just, this is my Node.js, so you just you know, just say node file.javascript basically. In fact, you know, that's exactly what I'm doing, node app.js. Then my app.js file is over here. Boom. That's my app.js file, and it basically executes a couple of other ones. And the main one being this one, which is my server. And what you're seeing here is the server basically. So what, you know, the server sees what's happening and then reacts to it accordingly and all that stuff. Now, what I want to test is if I can use the server to actually move the item and if that will replicate across the other guys. So what if I do set interval function la-di-da, our self is this. So this is going to be super primitive. Every 500 milliseconds I'm going to do this thing, and when I instantiate this stuff I'm going to have to make this a little bigger. 20 minus 10, so that's 10 in any direction, potentially max velocity, right? Close these, close. So what we're gonna do is every 500 milliseconds, we're gonna say this position dot x plus equals this, or self position at x, self dot velocity dot x.
The food is almost ready.
All right, cool. I'll finish shortly. Thanks, babe. And then, now, if we're moving the client, currently we're manually doing this. And this is something else later on we want to be able to kind of send updates automatically, right? So event transform ID message. So this is our message, right? Now, can I use NetID directly to send messages to the peers? I don't know, I might be. Let's see, send to peers. Message, send net message ID peers. So we might be able to use send to peers here. Except we're on the server, so we want to send it to everybody. So we might want to do this actually. So var message equals this, and then we'll send message to the client and to the peers. And nothing happens. Action not available on clients. Interesting. Handle message, assert server, dispatch event. Blueprint server. Console.log. Position transform. Update. Okay. So that fires from network client handle message. Handle message. Action not available on clients. Send handle message. Ah, wait a second. Client.send, send to peers, message ID, net ID sent. Oh, because this is designed to be sent to the server. My bad. So on the server, this is gonna, I'm gonna have to handle more elegantly, right? Yeah. Basically, I gotta do this directly for now. But that's definitely something we want to sort out. So we have this and that. NetID client, send to peers, and send. We probably want to do both. And we don't want to do those. And we want to do this. Property position of undefined. Can I read property position of undefined? Client, blueprint client 54. Client 50. Client 54. If message box position. Wait, cannot read property position of undefined. No message. Message is this. Ooh, message.message. That's wrong. Alright, maybe it's this? Maybe? Maybe? Any of these moving? Why is one sometimes disappearing? And which one is the one that's disappearing? Message transform client on message. Proxy message transform. Okay. So message position. There is no message.position. I beg to differ. Oh, self. There's no, I can't have any this stuff references in here. Ah! Okay. But that's only the proxies. Because only the proxies are listening to the event, right? So if we do the same thing with the client, right? We'll do that here. Client. There's no reason why we can't do it here as well. Alright. Now if we remove the logging on all three spots and do that here and, you know, do it a lot. Whee! But I can grab it and move it. Grab it. But the server doesn't like it. Damn it. Okay. Alright. Well, it's proof that the data can propagate. We could also do something like this. By changing the property, things are just gonna... things should... Self.velocity x equals math run. Oh. Alright guys, end of the music means end of the show. The problem is the server is the server position ever going to get overridden by the client? It doesn't seem so. It seems that the server position never gets updated. Okay. So we actually, whatever we're doing here, we need to do in the server as well. So we definitely need a very generic way of passing information around between these instead of hard coding it into the specific blueprint. This shouldn't be a job of the blueprint. So net ID on message. Server message on. If message.position. Self.position.copy. So now, if I move something here, it should update the server, and then the server just blows up. Self.position equals message.position. Good enough. Good enough. Cool, so I can now move them, but the server will continue to wiggle them. And it's not the clients that are wiggling them, which means that if one of these gets refreshed, well, they get dispatch event undefined. Ah. So that's the problem. Right now, objects are not being killed correctly. Alright, well, that's it for today. We'll be back with this tomorrow. Let's quickly check the Game Dev Network schedule. Today is Tuesday, the 31st of May. So next stream will be on twitch.tv/GameDevNetwork tomorrow at 4, I don't know what this means, 4:30 a.m. I guess, maybe? At 4:30 a.m. with Armello of creators of the League of Geeks. And Do they have... Somebody's got a launch tomorrow. Is it... Somebody's having a special stream, and I think it might be these guys. Anyway, check them out. Yeah, that's... Well, it's not the cursor for the cards. It's my cursor for testing. It's where I'm raycasting for the mouse position. So that's how I test if... Or how I can debug that the mouse is actually at the right position, you know. That I can drag and drop on a 3D plane like this rather than just relative to the screen coordinates, you know. Alright, I'm gonna go enjoy my dinner, and I hope you guys have a nice evening. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 on twitch.tv/GameDevNetwork, twitch.tv/Xenocide Academy, and livecoding.tv/Kilroy. Check out the game at xenocideacademy.com and follow me on Twitter, etc, etc. And I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good evening. Bye bye. I am on Twitch. I am on Twitch. See you there, man. Take care. Bye-bye.